Goblins and Gremlins, and welcome to the chaos. Today, the robots are taking over, and I am their slave. Alrighty, so today we are recreating an AI generated art piece, and honestly, after all this work, I fully understand why the AI are replacing us puny humans. Because they're superior. I have a better thought process than thinking I'm bad at art, so let's go with that. Bad jokes aside, I decided it would be fun to remake an AI art piece in my own style. And for starters, I wanted to give the AI a prompt generated by AI. And this was so that way I had as little influence on the final result as possible. Let's get into it. For starters, I recorded all of this on my iPad, and honestly, this was infuriating beyond means to just get it to work. So, to get the prompt, I downloaded ChatGPT and asked for it to give a unique art prompt. After a hiccup, it popped up with create a digital masterpiece that captures the essence of a dream merging with reality.
Have you ever had a dream that you would?
Alrighty, sweet. I have to recreate a masterpiece. How bold of you to assume that I will be making a masterpiece, but off we go to an app called Wonder to see what art I'll be making. After a few really bad outputs because ChatGPT had to be super wordy, I brought the prompt down to capture the essence of a dream merging with reality, which honestly was a super fun concept, but with the original prompt in all its glory, I kept getting the most boring liminal space type of images. Also, I had to sit through like a ton of ads, and sadly the app was only formatted for phones, so we get this massive like black space on each side that I'm sure looks amazing. At first, I was a little disappointed again, because the first one kind of just seemed like somebody's dream house, which I guess follows the prompt, but the second one ends up being this really neat landscape with the planet and moon taking up the whole of the sky. In my mind, this is some sort of terraformed moon orbiting in tandem with another moon around some gas planet. So super sci-fi, super cool, super into it. So after downloading the image and clicking through another ad, I drop it into a new Procreate file and get to sketching. Getting started with a rough sketch to place all the elements, I was having a pretty big dilemma of trying to figure out how the heck I was going to do this, as painting digitally is not something I do often. I was excited, though, since this gave the perfect excuse to use the Jazza brushes I bought recently while he was having a site-wide sale. I honestly should have done some practice before starting in on this and actually use layers, but I decided to make things hard on myself. So I dive into blocking in the colors, starting with the background and working my way forward like you would with a normal painting. Now, this tree was so weird. It's like suddenly I forgot how to make trees actually look like trees, so this is nothing near how the final result looks. But just bear with me. The stream or river or whatever was probably the thing I was looking forward to the least, as it's not something I know how to do well, but I think at the end I got it to look at least decent. Like, it breathes as a stream, right? Okay, hopefully. Now, this planet, though, originally looks more like a sort of Earth-like planet. I changed it to look more like a gas giant with some storms, mostly because I was having a lot of fun pushing and pulling the different odd colors. I will say this moon thing in the center did prove to be a bit of a pain, because of trying to make it glow, but you know, it is what it is. I jump around quite a lot, thinking I'm done with the planet and blocking out the trees again and hating them, of course, then trying to figure out this other background piece that looks more like trees, but colors of a mountain range, which I land on changing it to mountains, and then jump back into the planet to make some storms and clouds, which ruins. Words are hard. Okay. Which I land on changing it to mountains and then jump into the planet to make some storms and clouds, which ruins almost all the mid-ground work I just did, which is fine because it looks like crud. This to me is like the ugliest stage. Bleh. This is
You do you want you could do so.
try again. This is, to me, the ugliest stage of the painting, where it needs a lot of detail to look better, but I don't really understand the best way to tackle the detail. I experimented with quite a few different brushes from that set I bought to hopefully speed up the process more, as I really don't want to just abandon the project, but I'm losing hope kind of quickly. I have a really bad habit of leaving pieces unfinished in this sort of ugly state, and I really did not want this piece to have the same fate. I tend to go back to the planet a lot, as it was really my favorite part, and this also is our focal point, so I really wanted it to be just amazing. In the AI painting, it has this sort of galaxy effect in it, which I suppose brings out more of that dream part of the prompt, and I attempted to make it kind of look like city lights and some bright objects swirling in that big blue storm. The moon in the center looks like it's glowing, as well as the edge of the planet in front of the trees. But I don't think I really did that well, but I tried. I hope it looks kind of like it's glowing. This red bush would have probably been better to make into flowers, but I decided to give it more of a surreal look of being orange grass and use the grass blade brush to avoid doing it all by hand. I moved my way forward to start on this odd plant in the foreground and mess around with the little details a little more than I should, as a lot of the shading and blending I do isn't really visible unless you zoom in a lot, which is what I 100% did. Once I'm comfortable with that, not exactly happy, but I zoom out and realize it's fine. Using that bush brush, I throw in some indistinct leaves in the front there, as I have, now realized a lot of what I did was useless. And then I moved back into the midground on the other side to attempt to render out this mountain without a reference, and the texture brush for the grass, and then finally, I gained the confidence to start in on the rocks and the water, and this was a lot of trial and error. Using the original piece as my only reference to try and decide what shapes to use, and ultimately changing a lot simply because I did not know what I was doing. I take a moment to add more to this tree and get it looking a lot better, and then I tackle this foreground plant, making it look like some sort of tropical bush, I don't know. Then I fix the edges and make it look like it was painted on canvas, and there you have it, my art piece. Bye, I guess.